Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the first part in this series where I teach you what tools I use, how I look at the markets, and how I use those tools to take educated trades throughout the day and throughout different market conditions. So the first thing we're going to look at is how to identify ranges and trends and how to use them to our advantage. This may seem very simple, but it's very important to see how I distinguish between the two because I use tools differently if we're ranging or if I think we're in a trend. So let's jump right in. What is a range? When an asset trades between a high and a low price for a period of time, this is a range. So you can see right here, Bitcoin set a swing high, set a swing low, and then continued on in this path. Between the high and between the low, eventually broke down to the downside, but we'll get to that later. The very important part is that we just stayed in between the two. So how do we correctly identify a range? A range must have two consistent pivot points. If one pivot point is always changing, you are not in a range, you are in a trend. So coming back to this example, we have two consistent pivot points. We have the range high and we have the range low right here. And we never move them until it breaks, but we'll deal with that once again later. But for like when you're in real time, you're ranging. You're in between the two pivot points and you're not changing them. So why do we use ranges? Ranges offer us two pivot points which act as anchors or references for the rest of our technical analysis, making our analysis more stable and more simple, honestly. Instead of changing our analysis every 4 hours because we set a slightly higher high or slightly lower low, we're just taking these two pivot points, doing our TA, and coming to the next point. You can come back to the charts the next day as long as Bitcoin or any other asset, just using that as an example, is in the same range between the swing high and the swing low. You don't have to redo your TA. So it's very nice and it can be very convenient at times. So how do we use ranges? I personally like to use the swing high and swing low for all my fibs and volume profiles. So whatever comes first, I'll pull from the fibs. In this case, the high came first, so I pull my fib from the high to the low. And I also like to pull my volume profile from whatever came first, which once again happens to be the swing high. So let's now jump into what is a trend. A trend is when an asset is making new highs or new lows. We're no longer range bound. We are, in this case, we set a high, we set a low, we set a lower high, and that lower high is then confirmed by making a lower low than the one set before. We then set another lower high, and then set another lower low. So as you can see, there's no two fixed points. So that comes to this, how to correctly identify a trend. There are no two consistent pivot points. The asset is breaking its previous swing highs or swing lows. If one pivot point is always changing, you are in a trend. So how do we identify if it's an uptrend or a downtrend? If a lower high is set, then we are starting a downtrend. If a higher high is set, then we are starting an uptrend. You will sometimes hear me refer to this as market structure breaks. That is just a fancy way of saying starting a new trend. Why use trends? Trends offer more opportunity as we are not waiting for a level within a range to hit. Rather, we are trading with the trend. We can enter positions which go along with the trend and have a more profitable experience than with ranges. How to use trends. I personally like to use the swing highs or swing lows as pivot points in a trend to catch the lower high or higher low. For me, I do like to use my Fibonacci's from the high to the low, but if I think we're trending, I don't really like to use the volume profile. I just haven't had much good experience in a trending market dealing with the volume profile. So just bringing it all together. There are trends within ranges and ranges within trends. It all depends on the time frame being used. We can be in a daily range, but on the 1 hour, we could be trending. So whether you find trading with the trend or trading within ranges to come the most naturally, we must learn how to trade both in order to maximize our profits. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more, there is a Discord link in the description below where there's a lot of good traders. It's completely free. You can just come. There's a lot of good traders you can learn from there. Also, I almost stream every single day, at least every single weekday. So if you want to get notifications for that, there are just subscribe and hit the bell button. And if you trade on Bybit, there's a link in the description below for 30% off all of your fees. So if whether or not you're trading on Bybit already, or maybe you're trading on another exchange, if you want to sign up through that link, a new account, you get 30% off your fees, so you'll save some money. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you another time.